Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy T for 365 Horror, and this is a horror movie discovery channel. I am just here to put as many horror movies on your watch list as possible, and we are going to be previewing every single new horror streaming release for the week of August 18th. And of course, getting into my trailer reactions. So let's get into it right now. Now we are going to get into the video, but before we do, I've got to remind you guys to please like and subscribe if you like this content. Also, this video is best watched with a movie tracker. I like to use Letterboxd. It's just the easiest way to keep track of the movies that you've seen and want to see. I also want to touch on the availability of these titles, as I have personally went to each one of the services and verified that these movies are available. And if you are having trouble seeing them, there is probably one of two reasons. One, you might be region locked. And the other reason is that if you are using any of the alternative media sites or any of the free stuff, a lot of these movies just came out yesterday, so they really won't show up on those sites for a couple days. I've also taken the liberty of front-loading these videos so that we do get the free movies and the service movies at the beginning of the list. But just know that once we get to Amazon Prime or Apple TV, they're pretty much all pay to rent from there. And lastly, this is just a preview, and these are just my trailer reactions. As always, I've added chapters and timestamps in the description, so if you don't like the trailer reactions or you just want to skip to the next movie, you're always free to do so. But I also want you to think of this series as a choose-your-own adventure. I know a lot of people kind of want handheld picks, but if you look at the actual picks down in the comments of these videos and then kind of match them with the picks, my picks at the end of these videos, you'll see that there's so much difference and variation because horror is subjective. So I did want to have at least one series where everybody kind of had the agency to just see every movie. But if you did want some guided reviews and recommendations, then you can watch my Best I've Watched Lately series, my new movie review series, my You Should Watch series, or any of my movie list series. This here is just a little something for the diehards like me that are always looking for something new to watch. And with that, let's get right to it. So unfortunately, it is another expensive week, and we're just going to have to get right into the for rent movies right off the bat. And the first movie we're going to take a look at is a drama horror named We're Not Safe Here. And this movie is available on Amazon Prime. After vanishing, a woman returns with a chilling tale. Now, she and her friend are hunted by a dark force that twists fear into reality. It is directed by Solomon Gray. Okay, so I just checked out the trailer for We're Not Safe Here, and honestly, I've got to say that this one looks like a pretty solid supernatural horror. Right away, the trailer really throws some good creeps at you. The jump scares do a good job of snapping hard, and once they kind of enter into that kind of old school 40s and 50s Fallout music, it really just ratchets up the tension for me. But what really hooked me in this one was the mystery. From the write-up, it looks like the main character is kind of hunted by this dark entity, but is she? I don't know, and I just felt like that little bit of mystery kind of had me leaning in right away. Now, even though I don't have that much to say about this movie, I always love a drama horror that really kind of leans into the scares, and it looks like this one does. So I think that's going to earn it a regular spot on my watch list.
One night, this little girl wakes up, gets out of bed, and stabs her mom.
Next movie we're going to take a look at is a straight horror named Lilly Lives Alone. And this movie is available on Google Play and Apple TV. Guided by the ghost of her daughter, a guilt-ridden mother plunges into madness through the course of a drug-fueled fever dream. It is directed by Martin Melnick. Alright, so I just watched the trailer for Lilly Lives Alone, and this one looks like a solid grief horror with a supernatural twist. Now when it comes to the creeps, they're there, and the scares, definitely. Oftentimes in the trailer, we see the mother kind of sliding deeper and deeper into madness, along with these kind of demonic visions. Stuff like shadows grabbing people's hands or grabbing people away, or kind of demons lurking off camera, you know, just generally creepy stuff. On top of that, the film looks pretty bloody. Not splatter film, but not exactly tame either. But I'm not sure like a true gorehound would be satisfied by it. But what stood out most for me though was the premise. Because this mix of kind of drugs and grief, it could just equal like such a tragic downward spiral. And that's when the horror like this kind of hits its hardest. All in all, I think Lily Lives Alone looks decently creepy, and because of that, it's earned a regular spot on my watch list.
You ain't the only person that ever lost somebody, you know?
I'm seeing things. Too many things. You can't let your guard down, not for a minute. Men are always coming for you.
Next movie we're going to take a look at is a straight horror named The Dreadful Place, and this movie is available on Amazon Prime. Nearing the anniversary of her father's tragic death, Willow finds herself trapped in a twisted nightmare she can't wake up from. It is directed by Cole Daniel Hills. Okay, I just finished watching the trailer for The Dreadful Place, and honestly, this one just looks like an alright psych horror. Like, I dig that it has the potential to get weird, and we do see some bloodier moments kind of sprinkled in there, but here's the problem, the whole production, it just kind of screams B-movie. Now, being that this movie is set inside of a nightmare, it could work if the production team really leans in on the execution of kind of the more disturbing stuff. But truthfully, there just wasn't a lot for me to really grab onto here. I just felt like the whole film was just a little bit run-of-the-mill. So yeah, I think for now The Dreadful Place is going to get a little bit of a lower spot on my watch list.
I feel like I'm going crazy. I've been having these nightmares.
Maybe it's a mare.
It's a mare.
Did you sleep well last night?
I don't really want to talk about me.
Willow,
Hi, Chris.
do you still have my watch?
You're not my dad.
What makes you say that?
Turn around.
Next movie we're going to take a look at is a horror thriller named Whisper of the Witch. And this movie is available on Google Play, Apple TV, and Amazon Prime.
He's here.
Mara, an ancient pagan spirit, hunts a group of teenagers taking their body parts to be reborn. A disillusioned and desperate investigator has to face his deepest fears to save the teenagers. It is directed by Sarek Basu. Alright, so I just finished the trailer for Whisper of the Witch, and this one looks like a solid supernatural horror. The creeps and scares jumped out right away because there's lots of eerie moments and it looks like a few couple of pretty good jump scares sprinkled in. And whenever the spirit showed up, it definitely had me on edge. And hey, let's be real, who can't get down with a classic haunted house setting? Now, the only downside that I could really get from the trailer was that the film does hit just a lot of the regular horror beats. Like, we get the creaky wardrobe, we get the slow look under the bed, we get the creepy, like, mannequins, but still, I mean, these are classic horror kind of elements, and if they're executed properly, I still think you can pull them off when they're done great. Now, when it comes to the story, an undead witch stealing body parts in an effort to be reborn, it's just gruesome and I love it. Plus, it's got an element that you don't see as much in horror movies nowadays, and that's kind of a detective in the background, kind of working the case, trying to save the teenagers. So we could get a little side of detective work and some good revelations thrown in. Overall, Whisper of the Witch doesn't look totally original, but it does look creepy enough to kind of hold its own. So I think this one's going to get a regular spot on my watch list.
It has been abandoned for almost 100 years. The last one who lived here was the old Whisperer. She was a hermit and didn't leave the place until she died.
Alright guys, next movie we're going to check out is a straight horror named House on Eden. And this movie is available on Google Play, Apple TV, and Amazon Prime. Setting out to film their next paranormal investigation, Chris, Selena, and Jay encounter a malevolent ancient spirit that resides in an abandoned house deep in the woods. It is directed by Chris Collins. Okay, so after watching the trailer for House on Eden, this one looks like a pretty solid, supernatural, found footage, haunted house horror. Now, when it came to the creeps and scares, they looked sharp. And again, I don't feel like we can ever really go wrong with just a nice, good, classic haunted house setting. Now, one of the things that really stood out for me in this one was the acting, because I feel like in found footage, natural performances are everything. Like if the cast feels stiff, I feel like the whole illusion cracks, but here we've got colorful dialogue, we've got good performances, and a delivery that felt alive, so nothing really came off flat or boring. I also thought that the film looked eventful, because I find that's another big key in found footage, because if the performances are just flat and boring, I find the audience checks out. But in this one, just from the scenes that we get, like in all the scares, it looks like they really do a good job of keeping the story moving. And I dig the premise too, because I find that paranormal investigator stories, they just always have really good creeps and scares. And since in this movie that they are professionals in their field, you get a good kind of found footage 2.0 vibe, where you get a good dose of fixed cameras, but there's actually a reason for them to be there. Overall, I think House on Eden is packing some good scares, and I'm just such a sucker for that good kind of creepy found footage vibe that I think this one's going to get a little higher of a spot on my watch list.
I read about a girl going missing here like 60 years ago. This place is insane. There's no power. Let's check out this creepy ass house. I'm gonna be honest, I don't feel good about this.
Next movie we're going to take a look at is a straight horror named Custom, and this movie is available on Amazon Prime. A couple producing custom erotic films is dragged into a nightmarish conspiracy when they start working for a mysterious client. It is directed by Tiago Teixeira. Okay, so after watching the trailer for Custom, this one looks like some raw psychological horror. The first thing that really hit me in this one is that we are getting almost like a Serbian film, very light vibe out of this one, with almost like this sexuality woven into the horror. Now, I don't think that this film is going to deliver us like classic creeps and jump scares, but instead I think the film is going to push that raw kind of freaky sexual tension that just leaves you unsettled. Or maybe aroused. I'm kidding, mostly. Now, when it came to the gore in the film, it just looked nasty in the best way. Not a ton was shown in the trailer, but what we did see was like gritty, unflinching, visceral, and raw. Another thing that I really felt that this film had going for it was you almost get like this 8mm mixed with a Serbian film vibe. And I like the angle of this couple just producing adult films for mysterious clients, and then after the acts, only to realize that they can't remember the twisted things they've done. And honestly, I love these kind of dark, sex-driven kind of horror films. And while I think it's not going to be as like go over the top as like Serbian film 2.0, I think there's just enough that's going to be kind of like disturbing but palatable. So overall, I think that Custom looks like a bold watch. It's dark and raw, and I think it's going to have just enough boundary pushing to really like crawl and get under your skin. So for that reason, I think this one's going to get a higher priority on my watch list.
Path to a couple's desire goes through me. Can you see it yet?
I can't seem to remember much of what we did.
You give me what I want, and I'll give you what you want.
Next movie we're going to take a look at is a straight horror named Buried Alive, and this movie is available on Amazon Prime. In pursuit of a gang of violent but charismatic criminals, Officer Charlotte Briggs finds herself caught in a twisted game of life and death where the rules are always changing and the house always wins. It is directed by Robert Conway. Okay, so after watching the trailer for Buried Alive, this one definitely looks like a middle-of-the-road action horror. The first thing that jumped out for me in this one was the B-movie vibe. But hey, I mean, that can really go either way. It comes up to personal taste whether you find that a charm point or a red flag. And for scares, honestly, at most, I'm only seeing a couple jump scares here, and they just didn't even seem that effective. And I really think the fate of this movie kind of hinges on the gore, but at least that's kind of the strongest point in the trailer. And I like that we have this criminal crew, which almost makes for like a circle of friends setup. So it looks like we get plenty of victims and hopefully plenty of kills. Now on the plus side, usually in B movies like this, we see a lot of kind of CGI gunfire and CGI creatures and blood, and I didn't see a lot of that in this trailer, so that's good, but the creatures, they just didn't look great, and the acting, it felt a little shaky for sure. So I think if Buried Alive can really kind of lean into this gore, we might have somewhat of an entertaining movie here. But for me, unless I hear something or I don't really have much else to watch, I think this one's going to get a lower spot on my watch list.
Hurry up, get inside!
Decontamination protocols initiated.
Decontamination.
All right, guys, last movie we're going to take a look at this week is a documentary horror named Evil Unearthed. And this movie is available on Google Play and Amazon Prime.
Holy shit.
With 7 years of documentation, the Paranormal Research Unit delves into the unsettling mystery of the Monroe House, culminating in the discovery of disturbing ritualistic objects hidden beneath the most haunted house in Indiana. It is directed by Matt Benton. Okay, so after watching the trailer for Evil Unearthed, this one looks like a really intriguing documentary horror. Now, right away, I found that the film kind of gives off this creepier vibe, and anytime I hear documentary horror, it really makes my ears perk up because I just feel like we're going to get something elevated and something that at least feels real. Now, movies like this often do a really good job of kind of bringing unsettling, real footage. And when it's done right, those raw, kind of heart-pounding moments of fear, they just feel so authentic. And when I think back to the trailer, they definitely hint at that. Now, production-wise, even though this film is a documentary, it just looks sharp and eventful with a good layer of mystery baked in. Now, my only real hesitation is this. Sometimes when you get into these documentary horrors with real footage, they can kind of slide into like a Ghost Adventures territory. And yes, I'm looking at you, Zach Baggins, where even though it kind of is supposed to be real and you are looking at real footage, they just do a good job of making it all kind of come off fake. Now, that being said, the premise definitely had me curious because you have this long investigation, you have these like unsettling ritualistic items being unearthed, and a really eerie sense of like this could actually have happened. So overall for me, Evil Unearthed looks like a solid pick. It's creepy, mysterious, and it has a good level of polish that drew me in. And honestly, even though this is a documentary, I think it could end up being one of the scarier movies of the week. So I think this one's going to get a little bit of a higher spot on my watch list.
This place is truly dark, nasty, and evil. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass.
Well, guys, that's going to do it for another episode of previewing brand new streaming releases. I hope you like this content, and if you did find a couple of gems for your watch list, please leave me a like and subscribe. Now, if I had to make a couple of picks this week, I think I'm going to go with some scare picks because I do feel like kind of just being terrified this weekend, and the first movie I'm going to pick is House on Eden. Because I just liked the found footage element. I really liked how the characters kind of bantered back and forth. I felt like they were good natural performances. It looked super creepy. It had a good kind of eventful element for it where we just see a lot of stuff happening. And yeah, I just think that that movie has some good creeps and scares baked into it. So that's going to be my first pick of the week. And if I had to make a second pick this week, I think I'm going to go with the movie Custom. Whisper of the Witch looks scary too, but I think I'm going to go with Custom just because I haven't seen a good real like kind of lewd sexual horror in a while. Again, I really liked 8mm. I love movies like that. I like when like twisted kind of demented sex stuff. I don't know. I just enjoy that. I find it like has a good level of edge and disturbing. I didn't like a Serbian film as far as like I enjoyed what I was watching, but I did just like how shocking that film was. And with this and just the way that they're caught up in something and they're doing these weird acts while under this spell of this camera and sexual stuff, I just think we have a good level of disturbing. So that's going to be my second pick of the week. And I haven't done it in a while, but I am going to give a third honorable pick, and that is going to be Evil Unearthed, just because I'm interested in the real documentary aspect of this one. I think because it is going to be like Blackwell Ghost Paranormal Investigator. Like if you've seen the Blackwell Ghost, I think there's 5 parts of it. If you want to be scared or creeped out, go watch those. And I got a good feeling from that with Evil Unearthed. I just hope, again, it doesn't slide into ghost adventure territories, even though I did kind of like that show for a season or two, if I'm being honest. And then it just kind of became more of the same, and he made like bigger and bigger stretches. But in the beginning, I liked the show. So if we get something kind of good like that out of this documentary horror, I think we could get something kind of creepy and scary and just with a lot of weight because it feels real. So that's going to be my third and honorable pick of the week. So I wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update. Zola is doing amazing and we are having so much fun. It is a lot of work. Even my girl is like, yo man, you were right. This is a lot of work, because she didn't think it was going to be as much work. But yeah, no, she's been great. She's like really healthy, doing well. She's really smart. Like she's getting a lot of her commands already. And yeah, she's just a beautiful dog and it's been a great time. So yeah, Zola's doing good. As you can see, she's getting bigger and growing every day. So yeah, that's just a little update. Just a little update on Zola for the people who wanted it. That's why I put it at the end of the video. But yeah, okay. I am going to put Zola down because she is definitely getting a little hyper. And one of the other things that I wanted to clear up, just because somebody actually commented this on the last video about how I had my hand around her neck. Like, I love the dog. I love animals. I would never hurt an animal. Like, I'm the guy who swerves, like, for, like, squirrels and stuff like that. The only reason why I had my hand around her neck, first of all, it was extremely loose. If you look back at the video, it wasn't even touching her skin. And I was just doing that so she wouldn't, like, jump at and bite my face, because she's in a puppy stage, so she's really bitey. But I didn't want to put my hand on top of her head or over her face, because if you know anything about dogs at all, that only gets them more aggravated. So don't worry, I wasn't handling the dog roughly. I had my hands, it was just more like my fingers kind of on her shoulder points so that she couldn't jump up, so I could show you guys to her. I don't know why I feel, because I love animals so much, I don't know why I feel like I had to clear that up, but I did. So I hope nobody thinks that I'm just being rough with my puppy. Like, yo, I've had dogs for 30 years of my life. I love dogs. They've always lived long. I home make the dog's food, man. So don't worry if anybody thought I was being a little bit rough. The dog is like great and fine. I just wanted to clear that up for everybody. Well, guys, I'm out of here for real this time, as I have got a ton of movies to watch. If you've made it this far into the video, thank you. I appreciate you. I hope you guys have been taking care of yourselves, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Come on. Be a good boy.